Hi there. Today I'll be reviewing a video that recently went viral. It's on the subject of the choices we make about what we eat and what we drink. Very interesting, isn't it? My name is Sandeep Nath and I'm an inner power coach. I work with people on improving their health, and that's why this video caught my attention, in fact. It's by Palki Upadhyay, and let's hear it from her first. She's a renowned TV anchor and the executive director of the WION network. Over to Palki. Great message.
Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus. I'm Palki Upadhyay. I'm not a doctor, but here's what I am. Logical.
So what we can expect to encounter in the rest of the video is the logic of eating well, which is so very important because from an energy point of view, it's only the air we breathe and the food and what we drink that builds the energy inside us. So it's what we eat and what we breathe, that's all that matters. Let's hear more.
We are told slim is healthy and healthy is slim. You see, we humans have never been more insecure about our bodies than we are today. And this mindset is not helping us. The only thing it's helping is the market. The global health and wellness industry is currently worth $4.2 trillion. It represents 5.3% of the global economic output. How did it get here? By selling us shortcuts to becoming healthy.
Right. So, it's true. I agree completely that being healthy and being slim are not the same thing. But if you are slim, then you reduce the pressure on your knees. You reduce the weight that your spine has to carry. And you reduce the pressure on the heart. And all of that counts for being healthy. So it certainly helps to be slim. And I love the fact that Palki is so slim herself. It's great. And what happens is that wellness is when we make a choice to stay well rather than have a propensity to fall sick. That's the sickness industry. So if you're moving from sickness to wellness, you are just moving the share of that industry. But you're keeping yourself, by choice, in a better place. So how good is that? In fact, ideally, you would work with your own energy, the way we used to do in ancient times, the way our yogis used to do, the way Oriental masters used to do. And what Dr. Bruce Lipton, a notable American biologist, says, we have everything in ourselves to not need any drugs from the outside. Try that. Meanwhile, there's more.
Let me give you an example. Green tea, the highest selling wellness product. As of 2019, the global green tea market was worth $18.4 billion. This tea is considered the elixir to health. 3 cups of green tea a day and you're superhuman. You can burn fat, prevent diabetes, improve your brain functions and prevent cancer. Really? If green tea could prevent cancer, our cancer researchers would be vacationing in Tuscany with a glass of fine red wine.
Well, the reason cancer researchers are not holidaying in Tuscany is because we refuse to change our habits. You see, if you adopt green tea instead of the normal tea that you have with sugar, then you are actually cutting down on a lot of sugar that you were taking. And that sugar contributes to weight and a lot of other damaging things. In fact, anything processed, and sugar is processed, is taking us away from nature. Being closest to nature is where we are designed, is that way that we are designed since the last 130,000 years that we've been the Homo sapien. So when you talk about fruit sugars or sugarcane sugars, those are the kind of sugars which we can't put in tea.
Here's another product. Protein powder. These tubs are as heavy as dumbbell and they cost as much as gold. YouTubers say, go for it. It's worth the investment. Well, they are being paid to say so. But why are we drinking these? What you need to understand is protein powder is a supplement. It comes into play if you fail to reach your daily protein goal. For a woman, it's 46 grams. For a man, it's 56. You can meet this target by eating eggs, nuts, milk, chicken, soy chunks.
Eggs, nuts, milk, chicken, soya chunks. Now tell me, are you having these in your diet on a daily basis? But if you're not, then that's what supplementation is. You supplement whatever is missing because that kind of protein content is missing in our everyday diets. And if you're taking in 10 grams of protein, supplementation, make sure, like she says, that it is from an organic source which is naturally produced. That's what's very important. And Consume it because you will save that kind of money in hospitalization bills. You see, eventually, when we don't have the right kind of protein intake, there are a lot of advantages at the DNA level of protein, and we suffer the consequences. So why do that? Because in 10 years, if you've got to be hospitalized for 1 week, that costs you more than having a protein supplement every day. But having said that, I'd say do your research and see how it works for your body. Even with gluten, with anything, you've got to get biofeedback, and that comes from how you connect with yourself energetically. Once you get that, you can know consciously which side to tilt, what's working for you. That's something to be done. Meanwhile, let's go ahead.
Here's what else is not necessarily healthy. Brown alternatives, rice, bread, sugar. Of late, we tend to prefer them to the white variants. That did sound racist. It was totally unintended.
Now, while there is a point in that, let's look at it logically. Brown rice is less processed than white rice, and the processing is with chemicals. So you are, one, moving away from its natural state progressively, and two, you're also adding the chemical layer. Now, that's a point in favor of brown rice or brown anything, but it does not justify being extremely expensive. In fact, logically, if you're processing less, it ought to be cheaper. But that's not how the industry is working, which is something that you can reverse by lobbying. There is a book I wrote called Renewal, where I talk about how we can make these habit switches, and one of the habit switches could be getting into the habit of standing for certain causes, the way Greta is or the way Palki is, and any one of us can do stuff like that. But those habit switches, like the simple switches we talked of earlier about tea and milk and this and that, those kind of switches will help us renew ourselves at the level of the self as well as at the level of the planet. So that's what you could be looking at. One of the other things that help in renewal is understanding that anything that comes to us in a bag is processed. And if it's processed, it is away from nature. If it's away from nature, that's not how we're designed to respond, and therefore we're taking in foreign elements which are going to damage our health. So think of it that way. In fact, processed foods we talk of, but let's listen further.
Low-cal, fat-free, baked not fried, air-fried, cholesterol-free, none of these claims matter. Ingredients do. Many low-fat snacks have added sugar. They hide controversial ingredients under technical names.
Don't you feel like a puppet with all this misinformation going around? You've got to make the choices. We are constantly brainwashed about what to eat, what to wear, what religion to follow, where to study, what to do. I would say we have it in our consciousness, each one of us individually, to take the right decision, make the right choices. But the only reason we don't do that is because of social conformity. We want to conform, we want to go with what everybody else is doing, what is acceptable. Don't do that. It's not a fad, it's your life.
Here's another one. Vitamin water. It claims to be healthier than soda. Vitamin plus water equals to all you need.
Water is supposed to have vitamins and minerals in natural forms. But in the forms that we get with the RO and in the tap, there is either the RO it takes away everything, or the tap has a lot of contamination. So you've got to add whatever is appropriate. But do not replace water for soda, because soda has then got the added sugar as well as it's a processed food, and it's certainly not getting the vitamins and minerals that you need. So now actually listen to this.
Did you know that the sugar industry funded a research that downplayed the risk of sugar and painted fat as the devil? This was in the 1960s.
That's 60 years of being brainwashed by the industry. I call this obfuscivity, where something which is very objective is made into something subjective by a critical mass of people. And everybody is made to believe that the subjective reality is the real thing. It's like money. Money is a piece of paper, but we attribute importance to it. Because objectively, while it's a paper, subjectively, it's been given denominations. And we are all obfuscated by the use of it. There is abundance all around us, but we value it in terms of money. But we obfuscate our lives, and this is what the industry is doing by way of the kind of research example Palki presented here. I love the way he concludes that home food is good food. It's true. For generations we've had it, we know how to cook wherever in the world we might be. But anywhere in the world, the kind of food that we're getting by way of raw material is so different from the way it was generations ago, even in the last generation. Today we've got bioengineered food, we've got different stuff happening within the soil, we've got different mechanisms of storage, of cold storage and of ripening artificially, and all of that is costing vitamins, minerals and essential nutrients which we need for sustenance. So that's where A, supplementation comes in, and B, organic farming and growing your own food comes in. I would vote really for growing your own food because you can do it even in a balcony space. And if you just regenerate, regrow the seeds of good organic stuff that you bought once, you would do great service to yourself and your family. So that's a thought. And do that, and then you eat what's cooked at home. Let me just see how we conclude, how Palki concludes here.
Home food is health food. Home food is the only tried and tested superfood. If you want to lose weight, aim for a calorie deficit. If you want to be healthy, eat a balanced diet. Remember, food is not your enemy. Self-doubt and false advertising are.
Right. So since I am an energy master who spent 20 years in advertising, let me tell you a little bit about both and we'll conclude. First, the self-doubt. This is a low frequency vibration. It's something that sucks energy out of you, and that makes you vulnerable to mental and physical contamination, which is like depression or illness. You don't want that happening. So that's why you want to raise your vibrations from those levels of doubt and fear to higher levels. We can talk about that another day, but know that. And as for advertising, see, you can't fight the big bucks there are. What you can do is, you can, instead of being a consumerist, be a renewalist. And that would mean that you stop buying those packaged foods. It's in your wallet to buy. Nobody else's. And if enough people do that, then they will start rethinking the way that they are presenting products, because it's not about convenience, it's about sustainability of our health, of our species. Otherwise we just might be self-annihilating ourselves. So that said, think about it. I do the renewalism show about the subject of renewal, and I'll share the playlist in the comments. Go over, and thank you once again, Palki, for such a wonderful introduction to such an important subject. I'll leave you guys with the thought that whatever you eat and how you breathe, these are the two things that give you energy. So do both right. Take care, stay safe, stay healthy.